Shiva, let's take that question of yours to Colonel V.N. Thapar, who's joining us on the broadcast. Sir, I hope you heard Shiva's question. What are your views?
Look, my views are rather tough on this particular issue. I do not understand that a country of our standing, we are supposed to be among the top countries of the world. And a small group of people is taking us, creating news against us all over the world. I mean, they are trying to make the world believe that people are being massacred, people are being tortured, people are all this. It shows certain degree of weakness in our handling of the situation with these particular groups. And ISI, I mean, if ISI can be so aggressive, why are we so passive about the whole issue? I mean, we must get hold of these things.
Absolutely. Colonel V.N. Thapar, of course, these incidents are happening on foreign soil. The External Affairs Minister, in a stern message, has said, this is going to impact ties, and such kind of a radicalism, this ideology is not good.
No, but saying is not enough. Some concrete action has to be taken. I mean, people, the message should go to them that, well, you do this and then this happens. But that's not happening. We discuss on the televisions, we have debates in depth, intellectual debates in depth, but action is lacking. How can you allow ISI or these fringe groups to spoil the entire atmosphere of a state, and that to a border state? So therefore, we require to take some very concrete action. And I have my own suggestions, which I won't air on the TV. But there is any amount of concrete actions we can take.
Right.
I mean, we have examples in the world where people have done this kind of actions and brought them to the book. After all, what is the number of these people who are doing? And Canada is doing this to us. I mean, to our consulates and a third-rate power like Canada.
Right. So of course, Mr. Thapar, the need of the hour is to take a strong action, because this is
very strong action. Very strong action, because the name of the country, whereas we are working so hard to take the name of the country up, these are the kind of people, fringe elements, who are bringing our name down in the world. After all, we are living in a world community.
And then in that case, Mr. Thapar, it all boils down to if the West is willing to listen and understand, because even as just like my colleague also said, this is not only a threat for India, but also for the Western countries, because it also comes down the law and order situation therein.
Yeah. No, I agree with you that there is a threat always wherever these kind of people will go. Now, in England, what is happening? You tell me. I mean, we know wherever these fringe elements have gone, they have created a nuisance, and they will create a nuisance there. But we are not worried about their problem.
Absolutely.
We are worried about our problem.
Absolutely, because Indian citizens are at risk whenever such a incident is reported. The diplomats overseas are at risk because they seem to be on target of these elements. Thank you very much, Colonel V.N. Thapar, for sharing your views with us. Rishabh continues to be with us on the broadcast. Rishabh, well, the experts are talking now. The experts are demanding concrete action, saying, just by giving stern messages, it is not going to resolve the issue. We need to do more than that. Rishabh?
Definitely. If you see, we have seen attacks on Indian establishment. The way Indian establishment was attacked in UK, it was attacked in Australia and United States as well. The way the same Consulate General of San Francisco was vandalized in the month of March. India has definitely sent clear messages to them, and diplomatic channels have been open to ensure that such things doesn't happen. But yet again, there has been a vandalism and attack on Indian establishment, Indian Consulate in San Francisco. This shows that just messages or stern language won't work. Action needs to be taken. And now India would be looking forward to it. India, remember, Prime Minister has just finished his visit to the United States, and this discussion also took place when he was in White House with President Joe Biden. And that's the reason that even before India reacted to vandalism in San Francisco. US State Department came out strongly condemning it. So we'll have to wait and see what actions take place. We have seen the words and exchange of messages between these countries, but whether there will be an action or not is something that will unfold with time. We have seen after India took action
Rishabh, apologies for interrupting in between. Former Ambassador Suresh Kumar Goyal is also joining us over the phone line. Mr. Goyal, good morning. Your first thought, because this is not the first instance when an Indian consulate has been attacked on foreign soil. Perhaps the same consulate was also attacked by K sympathizers back in March this year.
Yes, there have been incidents of attack on the San Francisco consulate in the past, and this one is actually, I think, more serious than earlier, setting the fire, arson, and all those things. Clearly, there are lots in that area. I've been to San Francisco. There are lots of sympathizers with the Khalistani movement and the separatists in that area who have been there for a long time. And these things, though terrifying and terrible, not to be accepted at all, really, do happen. I think the time has now come when the external security of our consulate in San Francisco has to be strengthened by the U.S. government. In the normal course of functioning, external security of our property is the responsibility of the U.S. government. And I did hear a statement today in the morning after the incident of violence that they will look at increasing the security of the consulate.
Also, Mr. Goyal, can you help us understand what more can India do in terms of building pressure? Of course, this creates a law and order situation in the country where such incidents takes place. Indian citizens are at risk. The diplomats overseas automatically are at risk. They seem to be on target. External Affairs Minister has given stern messages to the countries where it is happening, saying that it can also impact our ties. Now, what more can India do?
Look, we have very, very important relationships. Just now, Prime Minister Modi has come back from Washington after a very successful visit. The government is entirely on our side in all matters. Therefore, we have to, in this particular case, I'm not talking about every other country, the action has to be different depending upon our relationship with the country and what the country exactly should towards India is. So our relation has to be measured and depends on the relations. In the case of the USA, we can expect full support from the USA in dealing with the situation, and therefore we have to have intense conversation with the leadership there to see what kind of action they will take, work with them in strengthening security, and most important, I think in this particular case, we must avoid any knee-jerk reaction or being critical of the government, the USA government in this case, because certainly they are on our side.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Goyal, for joining in and sharing your views. Thank you, Rishabh, for sharing all those latest inputs on the broadcast. For the meantime, let's move on and shift our focus